Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. And in today's video, I'm going to give you an update about the stimulus checks, the payroll protection program, some changes with that, as well as a new proposed stimulus package, which can include checks to individuals for $2,000 per month for potentially up to 6 months. So let's go ahead and dive into the video here. Okay, let's first talk about stimulus checks. And it's been reported that over 80 million stimulus checks have been sent out already. However, if you're waiting for a paper check to arrive in the mail, then the U.S. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said yesterday that paper checks have not been mailed out yet. And he said, quote, "The reason why the checks have not gone out is that we're hoping that more people will go to IRS.gov. It's much safer to send out direct deposits. So if the IRS does not have your bank account information online, you may want to go to IRS.gov. I'll leave a link in the description below for that, and enter your bank account information so you can get your funds quicker rather than waiting for potentially weeks or months to get your funds." So hope you can go ahead and do that. And despite the IRS saying that their web portal is working smoothly and effectively, a lot of people have been reporting issues with their web portal. I know a lot of people have been commenting on my videos about this. I know it's frustrating, but if you do get an error message on their website on irs.gov, then do not check multiple times a day. And this is because they only update their website once per day at night. So if you get an error message today, then check back the following day and that issue may get resolved. But don't check multiple times a day. It's not going to help. You also can go to the IRS website. They have a long list of FAQs on their website. Right now they have, I think, 33 frequently asked questions. So go on there and take a look at the list there. And they update that again on a regular basis. So go ahead and take a look at that. If you are getting a paper check, then the IRS is going to send your paper check in the mail to the address you have on file for the most recent tax return. So if your address has changed since you last filed your tax return, you need to go to the United States Postal Service online and update your mailing address. You need to do this as soon as possible too, because you don't want your check to be sent to your old address and then it's in limbo. And it's going to create a big problem for you. You're not going to get your funds for a while. So you can go onto the U.S. Postal Service website and you can change your address on there. And do not go onto Google and search United States Postal Service change of address, because you're going to see a bunch of ads that pop up. They're going to be third-party websites. They're going to want to charge you a lot of money to change your address on file through the United States Postal Service. So be sure to go onto the United States Postal Service directly and change your address there. They currently charge you $1.05. So small fee in order to change your address to mitigate that whole big issue if you have change and you're expecting to receive a paper check in the mail. In addition, the IRS says that be on the lookout for fraud. The IRS is not going to call, text, or email you and ask you to verify your bank account information. There's con artists out there who are going to be calling and emailing people asking for their bank account information, and they're going to try to route your stimulus funds to their bank account. So don't be a victim of fraud. I don't want any of my viewers to be a victim of fraud. Okay, so now let's talk about some changes that are coming very soon to the Payroll Protection Program, or the PPP. But before we get into that, please hit the like button. That'll help support this channel. And videos like these tend to take hours to make. All I ask is for a simple like. Appreciate your support. The Payroll Protection Program was designed to help small businesses who have less than 500 employees who have been affected by this pandemic to keep their employees on payroll. However, it also includes hotels and food service businesses that have less than 500 employees per location. And I'll talk about that later in the video. So per the Small Business Administration's website, or the SBA, it says the SBA will forgive loans if all employees are kept on the payroll for 8 weeks and the money is used for payroll, rent, mortgage, interest, and utilities. But the big ticket is that the $349 billion that was passed less than 2 weeks ago dried up very quickly. And so the SBA's website currently states that the SBA is currently unable to accept new applications for the PPP based on available appropriations funding. So the funding has run out. They're no longer accepting applications for the PPP. I actually applied for the PPP, and my bank sent me an email on April 17th, just a few days ago, saying that the funds have been fully allocated, and they say that we are continuing to process your application and we will hold your application for up to 30 days from the date it was originally submitted in the event that additional SBA funding becomes available under the same terms and conditions. There can be no assurance that additional funding will become available or that it will be available under the same terms and conditions. So I applied on April 9th, so I basically have until May 9th to get any PPP funds. I don't know if that's even going to be possible. So otherwise, if new funds are not added to the PPP program by the 9th, then I more than likely will be passed, and then people that have applied later then may potentially get money before me, which is frustrating. Also, in the meantime, the operators behind Ruth Chris Steakhouse received $20 million in funds. And I actually looked this up, and it has a parent company, which is called Ruth's Hospitality Group Incorporated, which is traded on the stock market under RUTH. I didn't even know that Ruth Chris Steakhouse was a publicly traded company. So they received $20 million in funds from the PPP program. So guess how much their net income was in 2019. So net income is their gross less all their expenses. Their net income in 2019 was $42 million. That means that they just received a check through the PPP program for just under half of their net income of 2019. It's crazy. In addition, according to Forbes, a total of 71 publicly traded companies received funds through the PPP program before the money was dried out. Crazy. So right now, the Democrats and the Republicans are working on a solution to find out how they're going to add more money into this PPP program. So U.S. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin stated yesterday, which was Sunday, that he's hopeful that an agreement will be reached today, Monday, and then it'll pass the House of Representatives on Tuesday, and then Trump will sign it into law on Wednesday. And that's only if the Republicans and the Democrats can agree on something. But it appears a deal was not reached today. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell tweeted today, said that the deal has not reached, and the Senate will again meet tomorrow. Mnuchin said that the deal would allocate about $300 billion to the PPP program, about $50 billion for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. That's an EIDL. That's the advance of up to $10,000 per company or $1,000 per employee. In addition to that, $75 billion for hospitals and $25 billion to invest in testing. Again, this is just a proposal. It hasn't been finalized yet, so we'll have to see what the ultimate stimulus package will be. And what is beyond frustrating and extremely ridiculous is that Mnuchin was actually quoted yesterday by saying that these additional $300 billion in additional funding towards the PPP program is going to be, I'll quote him, should be sufficient to reach almost everybody. Just absolutely a joke. Because according to the SBA's website, the SBA has guaranteed only 1 million loans under the Payroll Protection Program. So there are about 30 million or more small businesses in the United States. So there's about 29 million of those small businesses who have not received any funds through the Payroll Protection Program. And that was for $349 billion stimulus package. So how could an additional $300 billion cover almost everyone else? Just absolutely a joke. And then what also is frustrating is how many more of these large corporations that are in the hotel and food service business, how many of these are going to be receiving multiple million-dollar checks through the PPP program? It's just beyond ridiculous. So here's my warning to you. If you have not applied already to the PPP program, the money, if these additional funds are going to get approved for $300 billion-ish, these funds are going to run out very, very quickly. They have a long list of people, including myself, who are on the wait list to receive funds. So if these funds are approved, they're going to be going through them potentially even faster than the first round of $349 billion. So if you haven't already applied, you need to do it right away so you can get in line to potentially receive any funds through this program. Okay, so moving on. There's a new stimulus proposal called the Emergency Money for the People Act. And that's going to be a proposal for $2,000 per individual per month for potentially up to 6 months, rather than just a one-time $1,200 stimulus check like we received just last week. That was part of the CARES Act, of course. So this proposal would cover those who are age 16 years or greater, and even if they are claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. It would also offer more payment options, including a prepaid debit card, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal, rather than just receiving direct deposit or a paper check. It also may increase the income limitations too for those higher income individuals who didn't qualify for the economic impact payment or the stimulus check of $1,200. This is just a proposal. It hasn't been finalized yet. It needs to go through the Senate to get voted on, but the Democrats and the Republicans have to agree on this. Please subscribe to this channel for new developments, and also hit the like button to help support this channel. I greatly appreciate that. Also, if you're interested in learning about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market, I'm going to be posting regular updates about that as well, so stay tuned for that. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. I hope you have an awesome day, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.